While I was busy in the kitchen, my husband boldly brought another woman into the living room, convinced our daughter was completely blind. "She won't know," he whispered. Then my child suddenly spoke. "Dad, why is that lady wearing Mom's necklace?" My husband froze in terror. Before the story begins, take a moment to like and subscribe to Stories with Meaning. Stay until the end and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. The air inside the ophthalmologist's office felt unbearably dry and suffocating, as if every ounce of oxygen had been drained from the room by the sentence that had just left the lips of the man in the white coat sitting across from us. I gripped my leather handbag tightly, trying to suppress the trembling that spread from my fingertips to the pit of my chest. Beside me sat Anna, our only daughter, just 7 years old. She sat perfectly still, her empty gaze fixed straight ahead at the white wall. "I'm very sorry, ma'am, sir," the doctor said gently. "The damage to her optic nerve has reached an advanced stage due to yesterday's accident. Based on the latest scans, the chance of Anna regaining her sight is extremely small. We must consider this permanent." My world collapsed instantly. It felt as though the ceiling had caved in and crushed me whole. I turned quickly toward Anna. Her small face showed no expression at all. Perhaps she didn't fully understand the meaning of the word permanent, or perhaps the darkness that had become her new companion had already numbed her emotions. Tears streamed down my face uncontrollably. I reached for her tiny hand, squeezing it gently, trying to pass on strength I didn't even have myself. "That's impossible, doctor," I whispered hoarsely. "There must be another way. Surgery, treatment overseas, anything. Please don't tell me my child will be blind forever." The doctor sighed deeply, his eyes full of sympathy but firm. "We've done everything medically possible, Mrs. Laura. Right now, the most important thing is psychological support so Anna can adapt to her new condition." Through my sobs, I sensed something strange. Victor, my husband, who was seated on Anna's right, didn't reach out to hug me. He didn't even place a comforting hand on our daughter's back. Instead, he leaned forward, staring at the doctor with an intensity I couldn't read. "So she really can't see anything at all?" Victor asked, flatly. "Total darkness?" His voice held an odd vibration, not grief, not despair. It sounded more like impatience, or perhaps relief. "Medically speaking, sir," the doctor replied, "she may vaguely distinguish light from dark if exposed to extremely strong light, but recognizing objects or faces, none at all." "Oh, I see," Victor murmured. "Well, if that's her fate." He leaned back in his chair, not looking at me, not looking at Anna. Instead, his hand slipped into his pocket. He pulled out his phone and began typing rapidly. My chest tightened. "Victor," I whispered, stunned by his coldness, "did you hear what the doctor said about Anna?" "I heard you, Laura. So what am I supposed to do? Cry hysterically here? That won't bring her eyesight back, will it?" He stood up abruptly, shoving his phone back into his pocket. "Let's go home. I still have work matters delayed because we waited too long here." The drive home felt like a funeral procession. Silent, suffocating. Anna fell asleep in the back seat, exhausted after a day of painful examinations. I sat in the passenger seat, occasionally glancing at Victor as he drove. His face was rigid, jaw clenched, but his eyes held no sorrow. Instead, there was something else, a strange glint. When his phone vibrated on the dashboard, he glanced at it briefly. The corner of his lips twitched, just slightly. A smile. He erased it instantly when he realized I was watching. When we arrived at our large home in Chicago, the cold atmosphere followed us inside. The house that once echoed with Anna's laughter now felt like an abandoned building. I led Anna to her bedroom, helped her change, and tucked her into bed. "Mom," Anna called softly as I was about to leave. "Yes, sweetheart, I'm here." I stroked her hair. "I'm scared of the dark. Please don't turn off the light." My heart clenched painfully. "The light will stay on, darling. I promise I'll never turn it off." I kissed her forehead and rushed out before she could hear me cry again. When I went downstairs, Victor was already dressed in a clean shirt, reeking of strong cologne. An expensive cologne, one he rarely wore to the office, usually only for weddings or important client meetings. "Where are you going?" I asked. "We just got home. Anna needs her father." Victor adjusted his collar in the mirror. "Sudden meeting. Clients from out of town just arrived. If I don't go now, the contract could fall apart. Anna's treatment won't be cheap. I have to work harder." The excuse sounded reasonable, but my instincts screamed. Since when did emergency meetings require heavy cologne? And since when did he stop caring about our traumatized child? "But Victor, this is the first day we were told Anna—" "Enough, Laura. Don't be dramatic," he barked. "You're her mother. You handle her. My job is to make money. Don't give me a headache with your emotions." He grabbed his car keys and stormed out. The front door slammed shut, the echo stabbing my ears. I stood there alone, swallowing my bitter suspicion. There's no such thing as an auto mechanic sending messages about missing someone. But I stayed silent. My priority had to be Anna. A week passed. Our household ran like a machine. Victor came home later and later, claiming overtime or business trips. Meanwhile, I became Anna's eyes. I taught her where the furniture was, guided her to the bathroom, fed her. That Saturday afternoon, Victor claimed he had urgent business with a client at a golf course. I was busy in the kitchen at the back of the house, separated from the living room by a wooden partition. The blender roared loudly as I made dragon fruit juice for Anna. Anna sat on the living room sofa, listening to her favorite cartoon show. Even though she couldn't see, she memorized every line. I felt safe leaving her there. When I turned off the blender, I faintly heard the front door open. Footsteps. Not one pair, two. The first was heavy and familiar. Victor. The second was different. Sharp clicks of high heels against marble. My heart pounded. I stepped toward the living room, but stopped when I heard Victor's voice. Not harsh like with me. Low, soft, teasing. "Shh, keep your voice down, sweetheart." I heard my nagging wife is busy in the back. I heard the blender. A woman giggled, sweet, spoiled, disgusting. "Is it safe? Your kid is right there on the sofa." My blood boiled. I peeked through the carved wooden partition. The sight stole my breath. Victor had his arm around a young woman with long reddish-dyed hair. She wore a tight dress above her knees, shamelessly displaying her curves. They stood just a few feet from where Anna sat. "Relax," Victor said casually, even kissing the woman's cheek. "She's completely blind. The doctor said her optic nerve is badly damaged. She won't know we're here, let alone see anything we do. Just think of her as a statue." The woman giggled and stepped closer to Anna. She waved her hand in front of my daughter's face. Left, right. Anna didn't blink. Her gaze remained fixed, empty toward the television. Her face was completely expressionless. Acting or not? My daughter appeared completely unaware of the devilish woman standing right in front of her. "Oh, wow, she really doesn't react at all, huh?" the woman said, feigning pity. "So sad, so young, and her world is already dark." Her tone dripped with mockery. She then turned around, flaunting herself in front of the large mirror in the living room. "How do I look, Vic?" she asked coquettishly. "Do I look suitable to meet your social circle friends later?" Victor laughed proudly. "You look stunning, way more suitable to stand by my side than Laura with her dull, worn-out look. Later we'll just say she's my new assistant." The woman smiled widely at her reflection, adjusting her posture while touching her neck. That's when I saw it. Around her neck hung a white gold necklace with a teardrop-shaped diamond pendant. My eyes widened in horror. That was my necklace, the heirloom my late mother left me, locked away in the safe inside my wardrobe. When did Victor take it? I was ready to storm out and confront them. My anger had reached its breaking point. But then, unexpectedly, Anna's small voice shattered the tension. Anna tilted her head slightly, as if listening carefully. Then her tiny lips moved. "Dad?" Victor and the woman jolted, as if struck by lightning. They turned toward the sofa. Victor panicked instantly, pressing his index finger to his lips, signaling the woman to stay silent. "What is it, Anna? Dad just got home. Are you resting?" Anna didn't turn her head. Her eyes remained empty, staring forward. But the next sentence that slipped from her mouth made time itself freeze in that room. Why did Dad bring a guest? And why is that lady wearing the necklace Mom always wears? She doesn't smell like Mom either. Silence. A deadly, suffocating silence swallowed the room whole. Victor's face turned ghostly pale. His eyes widened in pure horror as he stared at Anna. The woman beside him instinctively clutched her neck with trembling hands, stepping backward, away from Anna, as if my small child were some kind of supernatural being who could see through lies. From behind the kitchen partition, I saw Victor's hands clench into fists. Cold sweat streamed down his temples. At that moment, he realized something terrifying. His child wasn't as naive as he thought. Or worse, could Anna actually see? Before Victor could open his mouth to deny anything, I deliberately let the glass I was holding fall to the floor. It shattered violently. The sound of breaking glass made both of them jump in sheer terror. Victor turned toward the kitchen, his eyes wide of shock. That was when I stepped out slowly, my face cold, my gaze sharp enough to burn them alive. The echo of shattered glass still rang painfully in my ears, but the effect was instant. The red-haired woman who had stood proudly moments ago fled out the front door like a thief caught in the act. Her high heels clacked frantically across the floor. Tap, tap, tap. Then, bang. The front door slammed shut. Now, only 3 of us remained in the living room, which suddenly felt unbearably small and suffocating. I walked forward from behind the partition, my hands trembling, not from fear, but from rage barely held back. My eyes locked onto Victor, who stood stiffly in the center of the room. His pale face flushed red, his veins in his neck bulged. He was putting on his defensive mask. I knew it. "Who was that woman, Victor?" I asked quietly, my voice shaking as I fought back tears. "And why did she run like a thief when I showed up?" Victor exhaled harshly and placed his hands on his hips. He looked away as if my question was the most ridiculous thing he'd ever heard. "She's a client, Laura, an important client. Her name is Monica. She came to pick up project documents I left in my car. She ran because you smashed a glass and scared her. What's wrong with you? You embarrassed me in front of a business associate." I stared at him in disbelief. "A business associate?" I snapped. "What kind of business associate do you call sweetheart? What kind of business associate do you kiss on the cheek in our living room while your wife is in the kitchen?" I stepped closer. The woman's perfume still lingered in the air, cheap vanilla, cloying and sharp, mixed with Victor's cold sweat. Victor laughed a hollow howl. "Oh God, Laura, you're so old-fashioned," he scoffed. "That was just a casual greeting, modern professional etiquette. Don't compare my business world to your narrow kitchen life. You saw it wrong. From where you were standing, your eyes were probably blurry from cooking smoke. But Anna said—" I turned toward the sofa. Anna still sat there motionless, her small hands clenched tightly in her lap, her head bowed. "But she said that woman was wearing my necklace, and Anna recognized her scent. Children don't lie." Victor snorted and strode toward Anna. He crouched in front of her, not to comfort her, but to intimidate her. He gripped her small body tightly, making her small body flinch. "Anna," his voice dropped, heavy and threatening, "answer Dad. "Did you see that lady wearing a necklace?" Anna trembled. "Anna?" I didn't see, Dad," she whispered. I heard." Victor straightened abruptly and turned to me with a cruel, victorious look. "This child is blind, Laura, completely blind," he snapped. "The doctor said last week her optic nerve is dead. How could she possibly see a necklace? It's just her imagination. She's traumatized, she's stressed, and now you're using the delusions of a sick child to accuse me." His words stabbed straight into my heart. They sounded logical, reasonable to any sane person, but my heart refused to accept them. "But she said," I protested weakly. "She said that because she misses seeing you wear that necklace," Victor cut in sharply. "She misses life before she got sick." His voice rose until it echoed throughout the house. "Do you even realize what you just did? You accused your husband, who works himself to exhaustion to pay for your child's treatment, of cheating based on the ramblings of a mentally unstable child and the jealousy of an insecure wife." Victor rubbed his temples, acting like the most miserable victim on earth. "I'm tired, Laura. My boss yells at me at work, traffic is hell, then I come home and get accused of adultery. What more do you want? Monthly allowance is paid, big house, you sit comfortably at home, and just because I brought a female colleague, you go hysterical." I fell silent. Doubt crept into my mind. The kitchen really was far from the living room. The carved wooden partition blocked part of my view. Maybe I really did misinterpret what I saw. And Anna, could she have been hallucinating because she missed the version of me that used to dress up? Seeing my hesitation, Victor delivered his final blow. He stepped closer, his voice soft but poisonous. "Wipe your tears. It's embarrassing if the neighbors hear this. Now I want you to apologize, not to me, but to yourself for thinking something so filthy." I lowered my head, staring at the broken glass near my feet. I felt small, powerless. Guilt began to eat away at my certainty for causing a scene in front of my sick child. I'm sorry, Victor," I whispered weakly. "I was just shocked and scared." "Good. Now clean up the glass before Anna steps on it. I'm going to shower. My mood is completely ruined because of you." Victor walked upstairs without even glancing at Anna, who was still trembling on the sofa. I knelt down and picked up the glass shards with my bare hands. Tears dripped onto the floor, one by one. I'm so stupid, I thought. I should have trusted my husband. But as I stood to throw the shards away, something caught my eye. Right where the woman had been standing, a small object glimmered between the ceramic tiles. I picked it up. An earring, white gold, rose petal shaped. My heart stopped. I recognized it instantly. It was the matching piece to my late mother's necklace, the set that should have been safely stored in my jewelry box upstairs. If that woman was only a business associate, how could she be wearing jewelry that matched my heirloom necklace, one Victor claimed he never took? That meant Anna was right. That woman was wearing my jewelry, and Victor had just twisted reality in the most horrifying way. I clenched the earring tightly until its sharp edge pierced my palm. The pain was real, and it grounded me. I wasn't crazy. My husband was a master liar, and he was using our daughter's blindness as a weapon to hide his betrayal. From behind the sofa, Anna suddenly turned her face toward me. Even though her eyes were hidden behind the dark sunglasses I bought her yesterday, I could feel her gaze. "Mom," she whispered softly, her voice nearly swallowed by the hum of the air conditioner. "Dad is bad." I clenched the earring tightly until it felt fused to my skin. The physical pain was nothing compared to the crushing agony spreading through my chest, squeezing my lungs until breathing felt impossible. "Dad is bad." Anna's whisper echoed in my ears, blending with the sound of running water upstairs. Victor was showering, washing himself clean, perhaps of the woman's perfume, or perhaps savoring his victory after manipulating my logic. I looked at Anna, who had returned to sitting silently like a statue. I couldn't lose control now. If I confronted Victor again with stronger proof than a single fallen earring, he would twist the truth once more. He was slippery, dangerous.
"Anna, wait here for a moment, sweetheart," I whispered, forcing my voice to stay calm. "Mom needs to go to the bedroom." Anna nodded faintly, her small fingers searching for the TV remote. I climbed the stairs, my legs heavy as if shackled with iron. Each step was a battle against the truth I feared. The door to our bedroom was slightly open. Victor's shower scent drifted out, mixed with his soft humming from the bathroom. He was singing happily after making his wife cry and his child.
I quietly stepped into the bedroom and gently closed the door without making a sound. My eyes immediately locked onto the large wardrobe in the corner of the room. Inside it was a small safe where I kept important documents and jewelry. The lock used a numeric combination, our wedding anniversary. A painful irony. With trembling hands, I dialed the numbers. Click. The safe door opened. I held my breath. The maroon velvet box that held my mother's heirloom necklace was still there. A flicker of hope sparked inside my chest. Maybe Nadia was mistaken. Maybe the earring I found earlier was just a replica or a coincidence. Maybe Victor wasn't cruel enough to steal his mother-in-law's inheritance and give it to his mistress. I picked up the box. It felt light. Too light. My heart began to pound as I lifted the lid. Empty. The white cushion inside was spotless. No diamond shimmer. No white gold chain that once rested there. The necklace was gone. Its matching bracelet was gone too. My knees gave out. I collapsed onto the floor, clutching the empty box to my chest. Victor had really done it. He had given my mother's inheritance to a woman named Siska, the woman he claimed was just a business associate. Tears spilled silently, streaming down my face. It felt like being betrayed twice, by the man I loved and by my own foolishness for trusting him for so many years. But the pain wasn't over yet. On the nightstand beside the bed, Victor's tablet screen was lit. A notification had just come in. Normally, the device was always locked with a password he frequently changed. But this time, perhaps because he was rushing to shower or because he believed I was a tech-illiterate fool, he left it lying there, unlocked. I stood up, returned the jewelry box to the safe, and walked toward the nightstand like a living corpse. The notification was from a chat app. The sender's name wasn't disguised as car mechanic like on his phone. It showed her real name, Siska Angrayeni. Apparently, Victor forgot to hide her contact name on this second device, one he rarely took outside. I opened the message. My fingers shook violently as I scrolled upward. What I saw wasn't just an affair, it was a documentation of cruelty. There was a photo of Siska taking a selfie inside Victor's car, the same car we used to drive Anna to her therapy sessions. Around Siska's neck hung my mother's necklace. Siska: "Victor, the necklace is so beautiful. My friends are going to be jealous at the social gathering. Thank you, love. Your wife isn't looking for it, right?" Victor replied 3 hours earlier. "Relax. Laura will never notice. She's too busy taking care of that blind child. A necklace that nice shouldn't rot in an old cabinet. It looks better on you. More classy." My blood boiled. That blind child, that was how he referred to Anna, his own daughter. With that insult burning into my chest, I scrolled further up. My eyes widened in horror when I saw messages dated 2 days after the doctor officially declared Anna's permanent blindness. Victor: "Good news, baby. The doctor confirmed Anna is permanently blind, so it'll be safer for us to meet at the house when Laura goes grocery shopping. The kid won't be able to tell anyone. She can't see anything." Siska: "Seriously? Wow, I'm sorry to hear that. just a laughing emoji. But hey, that's actually good. We won't have to keep paying for hotels anymore. I clamped my mouth to stop myself from screaming. I felt like throwing up. The diagnosis of Anna's blindness wasn't a tragedy to Victor. It was good news, an opportunity. He used his child's disability as a gateway to bring his mistress into our home. My world didn't just collapse, it shattered into dust. The loving husband I thought I knew was nothing but a demon wearing human skin. Suddenly, the bathroom door opened. Warm steam poured out. "Feels so refreshing," he said casually, rubbing his wet hair with a towel. He stepped out wearing nothing but a towel around his waist. I quickly placed the tablet back exactly where it had been and turned away, pretending to fold the blanket. My heart slammed against my ribs so hard it hurt. I couldn't be caught. Not yet. If I exploded now, he would seize the device, erase the evidence, and divorce me, leaving me with nothing. I had to be smart. I had to be more cunning than this devil. "Laura, what are you doing there? Why do you look so pale?" Victor asked, his voice calm and innocent. I turned around slowly and stared at the man I had slept beside for 10 years. His face now looked foreign, repulsive. "I'm fine," I replied flatly, swallowing the grit in my throat. Victor stepped closer, reaching out to touch my forehead. "Are you sick? Don't get sick. Who's going to take care of Anna? I'm busy." His touch burned my skin. I wanted to slap his hand away, spit in his face, and scream every filthy truth I had just uncovered. But I held back. I remembered Anna. I remembered our future, the one I had to protect from this greedy man. "I just need some rest," I said softly, stepping back. Victor shrugged indifferently and walked toward the nightstand. My heart stopped. Would he notice the tablet had moved? Would he check the app history? He picked it up and turned on the screen. His eyes narrowed. "Laura!" His voice dropped, cold and sharp. I held my breath, fists clenched behind my back. "Yes?" He turned slowly toward me, his gaze piercing. "This tablet was tilted to the left earlier. Why is it straight now? Did you touch it?" My blood froze. That wasn't a question. It was a trap. I forced myself to sigh deeply, as if exhausted by his paranoia. "Oh my God, Victor, you're always suspicious of your own wife," I said casually, reaching for the water bottle on the nightstand, right beside the tablet. I deliberately brushed the tablet again, so it shifted slightly. "I was grabbing some water and accidentally bumped it with my elbow. I moved it so it wouldn't fall. That's all. What do you think I was doing? Playing games?" I drank greedily, not from thirst, but to hide the tremor in my lips. Victor stared at me for several seconds, searching for cracks in my lie. But my messy appearance and swollen eyes convinced him I was just a depressed, broken wife mourning a disabled child, not a woman plotting war. "Huh, fine," he scoffed arrogantly. He took the tablet and deliberately changed the lock password right in front of me. "Don't touch my things. I don't like it." That night, I slept with my back turned to Victor. Same bed, but it felt like an ocean-wide abyss lay between us. I bit into my pillow to muffle my sobs. The image of that woman wearing my mother's necklace and Victor calling Anna that blind child looped in my mind like a broken tape. The days that followed were silent hell. This was their new room in this house. Victor slowly panned his phone camera around the room, recording every corner. He zoomed in on the crystal chandelier, lingered on the marble walls, then cruelly turned the camera toward Anna, who was sitting quietly on the sofa. She stared blankly ahead. "Look at this," Victor said casually. "Make it wider. Once this burden can be sent to a boarding facility or a special care home, we can turn this playroom into a mini bar or karaoke room for you." My heart felt like it was being ripped out of my chest. "Ah, Victor, that's so cruel," Siska laughed lightly. "But honestly, not a bad idea." She giggled. "She can't hear you anyway, right?" she added dismissively. "She's not just blind. Her brain's probably slow after that accident. Look at her, sitting there like a statue, no reaction at all." Victor snapped his fingers inches from Anna's face. Anna didn't blink. Her face remained expressionless. Her gaze stayed fixed straight ahead, as if looking right through her father's body as he stood there humiliating her. "Mom," Anna whispered softly, unable to hold back the pain any longer. I dropped the broom and ran to her, wrapping her tightly in my arms, pressing her face into my chest so she wouldn't have to face her father. Even though I knew she was blind, I felt the desperate need to shield her from the evil aura radiating from that man. "That's enough, Victor, enough," I cried through tears. "You can insult me all you want, but don't do this to your own child. She has a heart." Victor scoffed and ended the video call. "Take her to her room," he said coldly. "I'm sick of seeing people cry first thing in the morning." He whistled casually as he walked out to the porch, leaving me on the cold living room floor, clutching Anna in my arms. I felt completely shattered. I had failed to protect my child, failed to protect my own dignity. I wanted to disappear. What was the point of living if my existence was only to be trampled on like this? That night, Victor left again. He said he had a 2-day business trip out of town. I knew better. He was going on a getaway with Siska. Before going to bed, I went into Anna's room to check on her. The lights were brightly lit, just the way she liked. She lay on her side, hugging her pillow. I sat on the edge of her bed and gently stroked her hair. My tears fell onto her cheek. "I'm sorry, sweetheart. I'm sorry your mother is so useless." I didn't know what else to do anymore. I wanted to give up. I buried my face into her small shoulder, crying silently. I felt utterly alone in this world. Then, suddenly, a small, warm hand touched my wet cheek. The hand moved slowly, wiping my tears away. I jolted and lifted my face. Anna opened her eyes. Usually her gaze was empty, unfocused, but tonight was different. Under the bright light of the bedroom floor, her round eyes locked directly onto mine. Not drifting, not empty. There was focus, there was life. And even more shocking, there was anger and maturity no 7-year-old should have. "Mom, don't cry anymore," she whispered, barely audible. "Anna?" My voice shook. You know where my face is?" Anna nodded slightly. She pointed toward the closed bedroom door, then pulled me closer until her lips brushed my ear. What she whispered next made my entire body go cold. Her voice was soft, almost like a breath of wind, but its impact exploded inside my head. "I can see a fly on your shoulder, and I saw Dad take a green folder from the safe when you were at the market." My breath caught. My heart stopped for several seconds. I grabbed Anna's shoulders and pulled back, staring into her eyes. They still looked a little tired, but her pupils moved, tracking my face. "Anna, you can see me? Really see me?"
She nodded slightly. It's still blurry, Mom, like a white fog, but when the light is bright, I can see shapes. I can see you crying. Since when? I asked urgently. Why didn't you tell me? The doctor. Tears of joy and confusion streamed down my face. Anna quickly covered my mouth. Shh, Mom, don't be loud, she whispered fearfully. If Dad finds out, he'll get angry. Dad is bad. My heart sank. Why would you say that? Anna interrupted, her face suddenly serious, far too serious for a child. When I first started seeing shadows, I wanted to tell Dad, but I saw him smiling at himself in the mirror while talking to that woman. She swallowed. He said he was happy I was blind, so he could bring Aunt Siska into the house without hiding anymore. He said I was bad luck, a burden. My blood boiled. So my instincts were right. Victor wasn't just cheating, he was a monster who was grateful for his own child's suffering. I pretended I was still completely blind, Anna continued. If Dad knew I could see, he'd be more careful. I wanted to protect you, Mom. I hugged her tightly, sobbing silently into her neck. God, I had almost given up. All this time, my little angel had been fighting to protect me, alone, carrying a dangerous secret in fading darkness. After I calmed down, I remembered the second part of her whisper. You said a green folder, I said quietly. When did Dad take it? 2 days ago, Anna replied confidently. He thought I was sleeping on the couch. He opened the safe, took your jewelry box out, then grabbed a thick green folder. My body stiffened. There was only one green folder in the safe. The house deed. This house in Chicago, bought mostly with the inheritance from my parents, but foolishly, in the name of love and trust, I had agreed to put it under Victor's name 5 years ago. Where did he put it afterward? I asked. He didn't put it back. He replaced it with a black folder. Then he said on the phone, It's done, babe. Next week we cash it out. Enough for the down payment on our new apartment. The ground felt like it was shaking beneath me. He was planning to sell our house, the home where Anna grew up, to build a new nest with his mistress. The helplessness that had crushed me earlier vanished, replaced by a burning rage. The submissive wife died that night. A mother's instinct was born. Victor thought he was a chess master, a king moving pieces as he willed, believing his opponent was blind and stupid. He was wrong, because in this house there was a breathing surveillance camera, a witness he underestimated. Anna, I said firmly, holding her shoulders, from now on you must keep pretending to be blind. She nodded. If Dad waves his hand in front of your face, don't react. If he brings that woman again, stay silent, but listen carefully. Remember everything. I can do it, Anna said confidently. I'm good at acting. Good. This house is your right. I won't let them take a single dollar from you. I stood and looked at myself in the mirror. Messy hair, swollen eyes, stained clothes. No wonder Victor was disgusted. But the weak Laura died that night. One more thing, I said. Did you see the code Dad entered to open the safe? Anna smiled faintly, a smile just like mine from years ago. Yes, Mom, he changed it to Aunt Siska's birthday. May 12th, 1995. I smiled coldly. That information was my first weapon. Suddenly, footsteps echoed from downstairs. The front door opened hurriedly. Victor was home early, and he wasn't alone. Siska's shrill laughter echoed up the stairs. "So quiet, babe. The blind girl and her mom must be already asleep." "Good," Victor replied casually, "so we can celebrate selling the house peacefully in the guest room." Anna and I exchanged a look. My fists clenched. Tonight, our guerrilla war began.
I took a deep breath and slowly opened the bedroom door. Anna stepped out. Her acting was terrifyingly perfect, or perhaps it wasn't acting at all. She had lived in darkness for so long that every movement came naturally. Her arms stretched forward, fingertips brushing the hallway wall. Her feet dragged slightly, hesitant with each step, as if afraid of the floor itself. I watched from the narrow crack of the door, barely breathing. From downstairs, Siska's laughter grew louder. The sweet, artificial scent of fruity vape smoke crept up the stairs. They had truly turned this house into a den of indulgence, without the slightest concern for our presence. "Ugh, Victor, the AC isn't cold enough. It's hot," Siska whined. "I'll call a technician," Victor replied casually. "Or, better yet, we'll just buy a new one for the apartment later." Then, Anna's dragging footsteps reached the living room. Everything went quiet. "Mom, where are you?" Anna called weakly. "I'm thirsty." Her voice sounded hoarse and pitiful, an award-winning performance. I saw Victor sigh in irritation on the couch. His shirt buttons were half undone. Siska sat on the carpet between his legs, massaging his calves. The sight made my stomach churn. "Why is that kid wandering around alone?" Siska muttered, staring at Anna with disgust. "Where's her mother? Ugh!" "Laura, obviously. Lazy wife. The kid's thirsty and she doesn't even care." Victor stood up lazily and placed his coffee cup on the table, right next to the car keys lying carelessly there. "Hey, Anna, why are you roaming around? You'll fall and make trouble for me." Anna stopped. Her head tilted, as if searching for the source of his voice. I knew she could see exactly where those keys were. "I'm sorry, Dad," Anna whispered. "I'm really thirsty. There's no water left in my room." Her hand groped the air as she slowly moved toward the coffee table. My heart nearly burst out of my chest. One wrong move, one mistake, and Victor would know. "Watch it! That's an expensive table!" Victor barked as Anna's hand nearly touched a vase. She flinched. Her hand accidentally swept across the surface. Crash! A plastic cookie jar toppled and rolled across the floor. In that split second of chaos, Anna's small hand moved with lightning speed, snatching the car keys beside the jar and hiding them inside her pajama pocket. "Oh my God, she's so clumsy!" Siska shrieked hysterically, even though nothing but a plastic jar had fallen. "Victor, tell her to go upstairs already. She's ruining the mood." Victor clicked his tongue in annoyance, grabbed a bottle of water from the dining table, and shoved it into Anna's hand. "Here, drink and go back upstairs. Don't come down again. Dad's busy." "Thank you, Dad," Anna said softly. She turned and felt her way back toward the stairs. The car keys were safe in her hidden grip. As soon as Anna returned to the bedroom and handed me the keys, I kissed her forehead quickly. "Lock the door from the inside. Don't open it unless I knock 3 times, I whispered. Without wasting another second, I slipped out. I didn't use the main staircase. It was too risky. Instead, I took the narrow back spiral staircase near the laundry area, which led straight to the side garage. Victor used to mock me for using the servant's route. Tonight, that route saved my life. The garage was dark and cold. Victor's prized black SUV sat there silently. I pressed the unlock button. Beep! The lights blinked once. Thank God, the alarm had been disabled long ago. With trembling hands, I opened the back door slowly, careful not to make a sound. The stench of Siska's perfume filled the cabin. I nearly gagged. On the back seat lay Victor's suit jacket and leather briefcase. His phone, the one Anna mentioned, was in the jacket pocket. I grabbed it. The screen lit up. Locked. Damn it! I'd seen him change the password just yesterday. I forced myself to think. Siska's birthday. Anna said he changed the safe code to her birthday. I tried 051295. Access denied. Cold sweat poured down my back. I tried 05121995. Access denied. 3 attempts left before the phone locked for an hour. My hands shook violently. Time was running out. If Victor realized the keys were missing, I was finished. I thought like Victor. Narcissistic, arrogant, drunk on victory. Then I remembered what he said earlier on the phone. He said, "We'll celebrate selling this house." I tried today's date, the day he believed he had completely won. 1-1. The screen unlocked. I almost screamed in triumph. Of course, the bastard used his victory day as his password. I immediately opened his messaging apps. Using my own phone, I photographed everything. Transfer receipts to Siska, hotel bookings, explicit photos, filthy promises. Then, one message froze my blood. From attorney James Miller. Mr. Victor, the property sale documents are ready. The buyer requests signatures tomorrow at 9 a.m. at my office. Make sure your wife does not attend, or that her forged power of attorney is prepared, as discussed. She must not realize the house is being transferred. My world tilted. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., less than 12 hours before the only roof over Anna's head would be sold using my forged signature. I was about to copy the buyer's number when suddenly the garage lights snapped on. "Who's there?" Victor's voice thundered from the kitchen door. I froze inside the car, curled up in the back seat, phone glowing in my hand. Footsteps approached. Closer, closer. I slid down onto the floor between the seats, barely breathing. The bright garage light pierced through the tinted windows, casting monstrous shadows. Victor stopped right beside the left rear door. Click. The handle was pulled. My heart exploded. This was it. But the door didn't open. I remembered I had locked the car from the inside earlier. Victor cursed loudly. Damn it, why is this locked? I swear I didn't lock it. Beep. Wait, the keys were with me. Of course, the spare key. He must have grabbed it from the kitchen drawer. Before he could unlock the car, I slid my body toward the opposite door. The second I heard the lock disengage, Victor opened the left door. At the exact same moment, I cracked open the right door, rolled out onto the cold garage floor, and hid behind a towering stack of old cardboard boxes. Huh? Empty? Victor muttered, leaning into the car, staring directly at the back seat where I had just been. I clamped my mouth with my hand. We were less than 1 meter apart. I could see his bare feet. Thought I heard something, he grumbled. He checked his jacket pocket. My phone's still here. Good. He wasn't suspicious of anyone, just paranoid about misplacing his secret phone. Victor closed the car door and locked it again. Beep.
Damn garage rats. Need to call pest control. He walked back inside, turning off the garage light. Darkness returned. I collapsed onto the concrete floor, drenched in cold sweat. I was alive, and more importantly, his phone was still inside the car. I waited 10 full minutes. When I was certain they had gone upstairs to the guest room, I returned to the car using the main key. The night wasn't over. I reopened Victor's phone. This time, I went further. I opened his banking app. Fingerprint login failed. PIN required. I smiled coldly. Victor was a creature of habit. His ATM PIN had never changed. 052008. The date we started dating. How ironic, using our love to protect the money he stole. Access granted. My eyes widened. The balance? $55,000. Our joint savings he claimed had been lost to a failed investment. Without hesitation, I transferred $54,900.
When I entered the bedroom, Anna was still awake. She was sitting on the bed, her face tense with worry. "Mom," she whispered in relief when she saw me. She was afraid I might get caught. I pulled her into my arms and kissed the top of her head gently. "It's okay, sweetheart. Mommy did it. Your rightful money is safe now. Let's sleep. Tomorrow we're going to the circus." The next morning, the atmosphere at the breakfast table felt different. Victor looked unusually cheerful. He was humming while eating fried rice, dressed in his sharpest jazz-style suit. Sabrina was nowhere to be seen, probably still asleep or hiding in the guest room. I moved calmly, pouring tea. "Where are you going, Victor?" I asked softly. My appearance had changed. The worn-out house dress was gone, replaced with a neat home dress and light makeup. Victor paused for a moment, surprised by how refreshed I looked, but his ego quickly dismissed it. "Big meeting, a multi-million-dollar project. Pray it closes smoothly." "I hope it goes well," I replied with a smile. "Oh, and make sure the house deed is secured in the safe. I had a nightmare about a break-in last night." That was my bait. Victor nearly choked on his tea. "Cough. Yes, it's safe. What are you talking about this early in the morning? I'm the only one who knows the code." He glanced nervously at his watch. 1 hour left before his appointment with Notary Reed and the house buyer. "I'm leaving. Where are the car keys?" "On the coffee table. Anna found them under the sofa earlier," I said casually. He grabbed them without suspicion and rushed out. "Don't go wandering around," he called. As soon as his car disappeared around the corner, my smile spread. Cold, sharp. "Anna, go change. Wear your prettiest party dress." "Where are we going, Mom?" she asked. This time her eyes met mine, bright, intelligent, fully aware. "We're going to follow Daddy. We'll be uninvited guests at the notary's office." I grabbed my handbag. Inside were the original house ownership documents, our marriage certificate, and Anna's birth certificate. I ordered a rideshare. As the car sped through the streets of Chicago, my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "Mr. Harrison, prospective buyer. Thank you for the information, Mrs. Laura. I'm already here. Your husband and that woman just arrived. I'll wait for your move before canceling the deal. I despise fraud." So Mr. Harrison was a decent man. That made things much easier. The car stopped front of a sleek office building. Reed and Associates Notary Public. Through the glass, I saw Victor's car parked outside. Beside it, Sabrina stepped out, clinging to my husband's arm with exaggerated confidence. I exited the car, holding Anna's hand, sunglasses on, head held high. Today, the abused wife would detonate the bomb right in their faces. I pushed the glass door open just as Victor handed a green folder to a middle-aged man. "So this is the original deed, Mr. Victor. Your wife has signed the power of attorney." "Yes, everything's done," Victor replied smoothly. "My wife is critically ill and couldn't attend." "Oh, critically ill?" My voice echoed through the suddenly silent room. Victor and Sabrina turned simultaneously. Their triumphant smiles vanished, faces drained white, as if seeing a ghost in broad daylight. The room felt like an oven. Time froze. Victor stood rigid, mouth hanging, staring as if the dead had risen. Sabrina's grip on his arm loosened slowly. "Laura? You?" Victor stammered. "Why are you here? Aren't you dying?" "Dying?" I cut in sharply as I stepped forward. "As you can see, your useless, lazy wife is very much alive." My heels struck the marble floor with deliberate authority. "Alive enough to stop you from selling the only roof over our child's head." Mr. Harrison leaned back in his chair, amused. "Well, Mr. Victor, your wife looks remarkably healthy for someone supposedly in a coma. So the signature on that power of attorney—" Sweat beaded on Victor's forehead. He turned to the notary in panic. "This is a misunderstanding. My wife, she's mentally unstable since our daughter became blind. She hallucinates." Sabrina snapped back into character. She planted her hands on her hips and sneered at me. "Hey, crazy woman, what are you doing here causing trouble? Go home and take care of your disabled kid. Victor is selling the house for her treatment." I laughed. Cold, dry. "For treatment? Or for the luxury apartment you two planned to buy together?" I pulled out my phone and slammed it on the notary's desk. Screenshots, chats, photos. Plans to sell the house, plans to buy an apartment, Sabrina flaunting stolen jewelry. "Please review, Mr. Notary. Mr. Harrison, does this look like medical treatment to you?" Mr. Harrison glanced once, then shook his head. "Disgusting." "Mr. Victor, you claimed this deed was clean." Victor lunged for the folder, but Mr. Harrison stopped him. "Hold on. I've canceled the $2 million check that was supposed to clear today. I don't do business with frauds. And you, Mr. Notary, if you're involved in forged signatures, your license will be gone by tomorrow morning." The notary went pale. "I swear I didn't know. Mr. Victor said his wife agreed." Chaos erupted. Victor looked like a trapped rat. "You think you've won, Laura?" he hissed, stepping towards me. "You forget who controls the money. If this house doesn't sell, you and that blind girl will starve." Before I could answer, a small but firm voice spoke. "Dad, stop yelling." Silence. All eyes turned to Anna. She released my hand and slowly removed her sunglasses. Victor staggered back. "Anna, you can see?" Anna looked straight at him. "Dad said I was bad luck, a burden. But I saw everything. I saw you kiss that woman in the living room. I saw you take the house documents. I'm not blind, Dad. Your heart is." Victor collapsed. "And one more thing," I added calmly. "Check your bank account." Victor pulled out his phone, trembling. 1 second, 2 seconds. Damn it, he screamed, smashing the phone to the floor. Where's my money? Why is the balance 0? Where's the $50,000? That's not your money, I said evenly. It's marital property. I transferred it to Anna's future account. Consider it compensation for your affair and child abandonment. You want to call the police? Go ahead. I have proof. Victor slumped to the floor, ruined. Sabrina scoffed, grabbed her purse. Pathetic, broke and useless. She kicked his hand away and walked out. I took Anna's hand. Let's go home. To our home, I added. The locks were changed this morning. As I stepped outside, the sky was bright. No more clouds. Just as I opened the taxi door, a police car pulled up. Is Victor inside? An officer asked. Yes, I replied calmly. He's right in there.
We received a report of alleged corporate embezzlement from the company where he worked, the officer said calmly. He needs to be taken into custody. I smiled faintly. It seemed karma worked faster than expected. Victor didn't just lose my money. He had also been playing with fire at his own company to fund the luxury lifestyle he shared with Sabrina. Please, I said quietly. He's yours now, officer. 6 months later. Morning sunlight streamed through the large living room windows, illuminating the new peach-colored curtains I had replaced myself. The heavy gray drapes Victor once chose, meant to look exclusive but always felt suffocating, were gone. This house could finally breathe. So could I. I sat on the sofa, a new sofa. The old one, where Sabrina had once sat, had long been thrown out with the trash. In my hand was a large brown envelope stamped with the seal of the Cook County Family Court. The divorce decree. Official. Final. Freedom. Mom, look at my drawing! The joyful shout made me turn around. Anna came running in from the backyard holding a sheet of paper still damped with watercolor paint. No white cane, no dark sunglasses, and most importantly, no empty stare. 4 months of corneal transplant surgery and intensive nerve therapy had paid off. Her vision wasn't perfect yet. She still needed prescription glasses, but she could finally see the world in full color. The money Victor had tried to steal had truly saved his child's future. That's beautiful, sweetheart, I said, wiping a smudge of paint from her cheek. What is it? That's you, Mom. That's me, she said excitedly. We're having a picnic at the beach, and that's the big sun. I smiled, my chest tightening with emotion. There was a time our lives were pitch black, even with all the lights on, because lies cast shadows over everything. Now, even when clouds came, we knew the sun was always there. My phone vibrated. A new phone. No bitter memories stored inside it. A name appeared on the screen. Daniel Morgan, corporate attorney from Victor's former firm. I exhaled and answered. Good morning, Mrs. Laura. Sorry to disturb you. I just wanted to inform you the verdict was delivered yesterday afternoon. The court sentenced Victor to 5 years in federal prison for corporate embezzlement. He's also required to repay company losses. Since he's unable to do so, all remaining personal assets, his car and luxury watches, have been seized. Thank you for letting me know, I replied calmly. One more thing, Daniel added carefully. Victor requested a brief meeting with you and Anna. He says he misses her. He wants to apologize. I looked at Anna, happily coloring again. Should I give him a chance? No, I said firmly. Please tell him Anna is busy coloring the future he tried to destroy. We have no time to revisit the past." I ended the call. Cruel? Maybe, but letting poison back into our lives after finally removing it isn't prudeness, it's stupidity. That afternoon, I took Anna to an outdoor cafe on the outskirts of Chicago to celebrate the finalized divorce. She only knew we were celebrating her good report card. As we enjoyed ice cream, a luxury car pulled into the parking lot. The door opened, and out stepped a woman I knew too well. Sabrina. She looked different. Her face was tired. Heavy makeup failed to hide the fine lines around her eyes. She wasn't holding the arm of a wealthy man or executive anymore. Instead, she was being scolded harshly by an elderly, overweight woman who exited from the back seat. "Useless servant," she snapped, hitting Sabrina's arm with her handbag. "I pay you to push my wheelchair, not to strut around." "Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry," she replied quietly, bowing her head. "My heel got stuck earlier." Her face was pale. After Victor's downfall and public scandal, Sabrina had been abandoned by socialite circles. Now she worked as a caretaker for a difficult elderly woman. Karma doesn't always destroy. Sometimes it simply lowers you as far possible. Sabrina glanced over and our eyes met. She froze when she saw me, relaxed, well-dressed, glowing. I gave her a small smile and raised my iced tea slightly, as if toasting her fate. She immediately looked away in shame and hurried off, pushing the wheelchair. "Mom, who was that?" Anna asked. "No one, sweetheart," I replied softly. "Just someone who took the wrong road." That night, after putting Anna to bed, I stood alone on the balcony. The night air was cool. I opened my banking app. The small catering business I'd started with my remaining savings was finally growing. It wasn't as glamorous as Victor's old salary, but this money was clean, honest, blessed. I remembered the moment in the notary office, the moment I decided to stop being a victim. Many women stay in toxic marriages for the children, but children suffer most watching their mothers be crushed every day. I was grateful I woke up in time. Anna didn't just regain her physical sight, she gave me inner vision. She taught me that sometimes we must close our eyes to our own fear so we can see the courage hidden in our hearts. Somewhere in prison, Victor was probably lying on a cold floor, drowning in regret. Regretting his arrogance, believing a quiet wife was a foolish wife, believing a disabled child was worthless. Let him rot with his remorse. I closed the balcony door, locked the past outside. Inside this house, there was only me, Anna, and the happiness we built ourselves. Our world was no longer dark.